So Pritzker's got some trouble, Daniel, our fantastic governor.
Yeah, we interviewed him.
Yeah, well, actually, that's right. We did. I forgot that we interviewed him.
Embry had really big hands.
Mm-hmm. Geez, we interviewed him way back in 2018. Oh my goodness, what an
I remember he's like, "Don't talk to me. Talk to my lieutenant governor."
Yeah, a little bit of that. So yeah, we could say that. Yeah, Harlan's Media did interview the governor or once candidate, as well, including his lieutenant governor. So why are we talking about? Well, he's has two oopsies. First of all, J.B. Pritzker, our fantastic governor, has been caught, I say, for trying to delete and scrub out a photo of him with one of the perpetrators in the smash and grab on the Magnificent Mile.
Oof.
The reason this is getting so much traction is because the photo was of Governor Pritzker with a man now charged in connection to deadly Chicago crash on the Mag Mile. CWB Chicago first reported that 35-year-old Kellen McMiller, now accused of murder, posed for the photo earlier this month at an event highlighting peacekeepers who work in community violence prevention. Now, a spokesperson for Pritzker said they were troubled to learn of the allegations against McMiller, saying in part, quote, "The governor meets hundreds of people in communities every week and is often asked to take photos. We are extremely troubled to learn that this individual was arrested for his alleged involvement in this serious crime, and we expect them to be held accountable to the fullest extent of the law." And the spokesperson added that Pritzker did not know McMiller personally, says they took the photo down on the website after being notified that he was arrested. The man, McMiller, and several other men are accused of killing in the crash. As Mark Arceda, the 40-year-old, lived in Skokie, was on his way to work when the suspects in a smash and grab burglary crashed into him in a getaway car. His girlfriend gave birth to their son the day after he died. And tonight, it's not clear how McMiller, who reportedly had 4 outstanding warrants from multiple states, was able to participate in this event and pose with the governor.
Always a big question. Always a big question. Here's the thing. I talked about this on the Jimmy Dore show about a lot of these, non-violent groups or some of these organizations that say they want to lower crime. They never follow through, and it's something that you and I have seen firsthand with a lot of these activist groups in Chicago, and that is, it's all show, it's all words. Wouldn't you? Unless I'm missing something here, because when we've been to events, it's always like, okay, it's great to see all these people here mobilized, and then what?
Yeah. So I agree with it. Because, one of the things we did in the first 2 years of Hard Lens is we made a determined push to interview and get to know every single progressive group in the city and the surrounding area, and we accomplished that. And so you're right. By the end of that, we were sort of at the point of like, what are these groups really doing?
Yeah.
That's the big thing, is that they meet regularly, they do all this stuff, but like, what have they actually accomplished?
And the thing is too, what's really kind of interesting is that some of these groups do start up, they're around for a certain number of years, and then poof, they disappear, smoke and mirrors. And I've always found that to be fascinating when it comes down to these organizations. Now, yes, to be fair, there are some organizations that, let's face it, they lose funding, or either that they are targeted and then taken down, or they get co-opted and get taken down, or get absorbed into something larger, and then they're forgotten. And so with the governor scrubbing the photo, I understand why. Here's the thing. It's, if they didn't know, and they just found out that same suspect now, or not suspect, he's on the cameras. Again, innocent till proven guilty in a court of law, of course, but he's on the cameras. He was arrested, and unfortunately, during that horrific chase, a soon-to-be father did lose his life. And this was also during the height of the will Trump send the National Guard or won't Trump send the National Guard into Chicago. And it's another sign of really how politicians try and keep their image squeaky clean. And even then, if they don't know, it still doesn't look good, no matter which way you want to spend it or spin it. It's just I do have to wonder then to the governors, like, okay, guys, like, does anyone truly vet these events, or is just like, oh, we're just gonna fly in there?
Yeah. So again, I think that you're right. I think the least important part of the story is actually that he was in this photo. I think the fact that he's covering up that he was in the photo is maybe a bigger deal. When you when crime happens, the worst thing you can do is try and cover it up. So it's like if he didn't, I think Pritzker's best move should have been to do nothing. I mean, I think his quote that he originally gave was, "Hey, look, I talked to hundreds of people. I don't control." It's like that's fair, but you're putting in a little bit of effort than more than I would have done. Like if we had a photo where I was handshaking someone that was a criminal, why would I take it down? I didn't do anything wrong, but he's doing it.
well,
But again, I think it's the point that you made that this is for public argument's sake because the Trump administration wants to sit nice in, and Pritzker wants to look squeaky clean, and Trump's whole thing is, hey, you're full of crime. Pritzker's like, no, I'm not. Okay, then what's this picture of you shaking someone's hand who's a criminal? The story sort of writes itself in its own way. So I genuinely think if Pritzker had done nothing, it would have been better than doing something.
I agree. I agree 100%. And look, and again, condolences to the family. I mean, I only can imagine what the parents and his girlfriend are going through right now, knowing that his son was born the day after he died, and it's beyond reproach. But there's also other problems for Pritzker, most notably this right here. So let's go ahead and pull this up here because Illinois is in some trouble, and I'm not saying the state's going to implode, but the state might implode.
A new documents obtained by Fox 32 show Governor Pritzker's office was warned by Chicago officials that a pension bill could hurt the city's finances big time.
Yeah, that warning was sent to his office days before Pritzker wound up signing the bill. Critics say it's going to add billions of dollars to the city's financial problems. Political reporter Paris Schutz has the latest and exclusive details on this.
Yeah, Sylvia and Terrence, last month the governor signed this bill called the Tier 2 Police and Fire Pension Bill that will wind up costing $11 billion over the next 30 years. He says the mayor never asked him to veto it. But internal documents that we've obtained show that his office was warned by high-level city officials that the bill could devastate the city's finances and the police and fire pensions.
Hold on.
Pritzker quietly signed the Tier 2 pension.
Go ahead, Dan.
Okay. I just want to make the point that everyone's acting surprised that the pension is a very big thing on the budget. We've been, ever since we started Hard Lens, that's been a topic in the city that we can't afford the pensions. Well, what do we do at the pensions? We're going to guarantee the pensions. We can't afford the pensions.
We're going to guarantee it. Then
so if anyone's walking in and acting like, oh my God, Pritzker had no idea that this was happening or this is a thing that's going on, this has literally been going on when Bruce Rauner was governor.
Yes, and I will go on and say, how many times have we been around here listening to the same story over and over again, and people are asking again what photo. Earlier on this part of the segment, Governor J.B. Pritzker had a photo of himself with one of the perpetrators of the smash and grab at Louis Vuitton on the Magnificent Mile here in Chicago just a few weeks ago. So yeah, that's what's happening. And his answer was subpar, and I'm wondering now what his answer will be for this, since Chicago is going to be stuck with paying a bill.
Pension bill into law in early August, explaining that he never heard opposition from the mayor.
The mayor never once called me, or as far as I know, any legislators to oppose that bill or to ask for any changes in that bill.
But an internal memo we obtained dated July 8 shows the mayor's chief financial officer, Jill Jaworski, warning top Pritzker aide Andy Minar that the legislation could cost $11 billion over the next 30 years without any way for the city to pay for it. It also says the police and fire pension funds would fall below 20% funding, making them, quote, technically insolvent. Another email dated July 28th reveals an oopsie. The memo never sent, but Minar
an oopsie. Jesus. An oopsie.
Received it 5 days before the governor signed. Fiscal watchdog Austin Berg of the libertarian-leaning Illinois Policy Institute says it reveals a failure on both the city and state's part to look out for Chicago taxpayers.
Springfield is definitely not blameless in this, but you would think for a bill that has this big of an effect on only Chicago, that the mayor and the CFO would have been on the phone every day talking to state representatives, state senators, all the members of the governor's staff. And instead, they were totally missing in action.
The sponsor of the bill is Northwest Side State Senator Robert Martwick. He said it was necessary to give newer hires in the Chicago Police and Fire Departments the same benefits as their counterparts across the state.
What we did was we provided the same benefit parity to the same tier 2 fix for Chicago Police and Fire that was granted 6 years prior to every other police and firefighter in the state of Illinois.
Martwick says it was also necessary to satisfy what's called the safe harbor rule, an IRS mandate that government employees have retirement benefits equal to or greater than Social Security.
What could go wrong? And thing is a lot. The city is $1.1 billion in the hole here, folks. I'm not saying that, you know, with recent national events playing a role here, folks, but, you know, I wouldn't be surprised if there's going to be a full-on economic collapse. And with the political turmoil that's happening in this country, a lot of people are going to be on edge. Daniel, you want to add in anything?
Yeah, so again, this is a can that keeps getting kicked down the road. Oh, we're going to fund the pension. We don't know how to fund the pension. How do we fund the pension? What do we do? And it's not just the police and fire. That's what's being talked about right now. We have the teachers' pension. There are a lot of different pension funds in Illinois and Chicago specifically. And I think that they made the point. It's like they're just going to run out of money at some point, and they're going to go. Because remember, what they were saying was, oh, we're not going to cancel the pension. We're not going to do anything like that. And so the consequence of that is they're just going to go down well, we ran out of money, so your benefit is now 20% of what it should be. Sorry, I know you sort of, you know, retired on this pension, but oops, we're out of money.
Yeah. So anyways, folks, yeah, so as we continue to push forward, you know,
by the way, I just want to throw out there that this is all happening at the same time. I'm not surprised that the mayor, who's again less popular than Lori Lightfoot, which I don't know how that was accomplished, but he's managed to do it. What is he at, a 4% approval rating?
He's mayor 6.6%.
Okay. I think that says everything you need to when you're half as popular as Congress, or a little less than that even. Yeah, this is so I'm not surprised he didn't do it, because he doesn't do anything. It's like you're expecting the mayor to be on top of the Chicago fire and police pension funds. Okay, well, maybe a competent mayor, but you know, it's not what we're dealing with.
But not this mayor.
Berg says that's not an acceptable reason to burden Chicago taxpayers with $11 billion in new obligations.
That is a total red herring to say that this has anything to do with safe harbor. And the city knows that, and they should have been more vocal in saying that.
Martwick says he understands the financial ramifications.
So the problems that have been created over decades of underfunding from administrations past are there. Passing the law doesn't make them any more insolvent. It just makes the insolvency more apparent and more readily accessible.
And the mayor's office sent a statement to us this afternoon saying, quote, the email reference corroborates what we said all along, that both the legislators and the governor's office were aware of our concerns. We raised these concerns both publicly while testifying on the potential impact of the bill and privately. We respect that they saw the issue differently. The mayor says the state has to help them out of this mess and find some progressive revenue options, or else the city is in a lot of financial trouble.
Yeah, and he is in trouble. I don't know how else to sugarcoat it here, folks.
Yeah, and so I want to bring up the comment made by Jacqueline on Kick. We pull that up.
Yeah, sure thing. Let me go ahead.
Or both Governor Illinois.
Yes.
No, Brandon Johnson somehow is like, Pritzker is going to keep being governor. You have to understand how Illinois looks at governors. It's over half the governors in the last, I think, 50 years have gone to prison. So the fact that there's a dude that's not going to prison means it's one of our better governors. That's sort of the bar that Illinois is at. So the fact
when you
that
say it like that, it makes it sound even worse. Damn.
Well, it is. I mean, that's the point. So from an Illinois governor perspective, Pritzker is actually not bad. But that's like, again, that's the bar is he in jail? Is he going to jail? And as long as he's not in jail, he's better than 50% of our governors. And then as far as Brandon Johnson goes, I don't know how you could be as unpopular as he is. I just don't. It's like, find another politician who's in office who has a 6% approval rating, and then tell me that he's not the worst.
I agree.
Lori Lightfoot couldn't even accomplish that, and she was one of our only one-term mayors.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. And the thing is, like, that says a lot about Lightfoot and her legacy. So in the long run here, folks, you know, we're still dealing with, you know, the overall fallout of what's happening here in Chicago, and whether or not this city still remains standing is the big question. But this is what we're dealing with, unfortunately. And so for everyone that's watching us on YouTube, on Kick right now, hey, if we're still here, we're still here. But maybe Chicago will be a city of the dead because of just how broke it's going to get. And with the political instability that we're seeing in this country, and also with the war on independent media, I mean, how many people are going to be speaking out about this? To those protesters, where are you at? I mean, now's not the time to be protesting at Trump Tower. You need to be going to City Hall or the Capitol in Springfield right now.
But Kit, going to Trump Tower across the river and saying Trump bad is the most important political thing you can do, says people who probably are on that 6% supporting Johnson.
Yeah, exactly. Well, the ice is still running around here, so there you go.